guys, it's Nid, your wellnesspreneur consultant, and in this video we are continuing with the theme of contracts and negotiating terms to make sure that they are equal and fair. And in this video I wanted to cover off how to make use of the knowledge in the video series I've done around contract basics to then work with people to ensure that we're agreeing really fair and equitable relationships that will work and last in the long term. And I'm going to take this very much from a looking at a deal that you're doing perspective. So the first thing we want to make sure that we're doing is we really understand the deal, what it is that you're offering, what you're going to do, what it is that you're responsible for, what your rights are, and what it is that you're getting back from this scenario. And how are you getting that back? What you're expecting from the other person in what they're going to deliver and how they're going to behave. You then want to flip it around and sit on the other person's side. So be your customer or be the studio or be your partner in your project and explain what all of those questions are from their perspective and really try and sit in their mind and their energy as you're doing that. And hopefully you may then start to notice if there's any gaps between those two views. Now, in the past, I have had customers who have really struggled with this because from that holistic and spiritual work and wellness world, they really felt that everybody in the world should be trusted and something you could act, that they were faithful and in their honest communications, and then found that maybe they really didn't understand the business and the commercial reality that their partner was coming with. And that created a real misalignment between the two, and they really hadn't seen some big gaps between the two perspectives. So do take the time to really think about the background of your partner or the person that you're going to be working with and what they might be bringing into the scenario that you're in. And it can be really useful to actually have this as an open discussion with them and get them to reflect back what they think you want, and you could do the same thing and see if the two of you are in agreement that that's what you're actually doing. It's also really important to think about the ways in which the deal could go wrong and look at those scenarios and explore what the options would be as to how you would find a way out of those potential scenarios. Whether that means falling out and not getting on, or whether it means external events happening that could put strain on one or both of you in your ability to do what it is that you're agreeing to do. And break down those scenarios and go through them together. And that then just hopefully means that if something were to go wrong, you've got a really good, solid relationship and foundation to move forwards. It's a little bit like thinking about getting a prenup. And, you know, we don't want to have that conversation when we're all loved up. But the reality is that over 50% of relationships and marriages don't last nowadays. And if you don't have that conversation around your finances and your assets and your businesses, it becomes quite complicated and quite messy. And a prenup can sometimes just help to show that you've really thought about that side of the relationship. And also it shows an ability to have a really good, open and present, mindful communication with your partner, which hopefully makes your communication stronger so that your relationship stays stronger for the future. You're then going to spend some time really being clear about what it is that you want. So maybe this is a step you need to do before you even get into the deal part that I just explained. This can happen at any point. You could be working with somebody already and maybe then there's a new deal that needs to be struck. Or maybe it's a new partner or a new scenario, new clients, a new part of your business growth, or you're working with a new studio. And it's really important to think about the 3 R's. And I would say these are your rights, your responsibilities, and your risks. And you want to know what are your rights, whether those are legal rights or they're contractual within the deal you're doing. What are the responsibilities, so what you have to do, and can you do that? You know, what are the things that could stop you from doing that? And that's part of your risk. How can you then manage or mitigate those potential risks that stop you from delivering your responsibilities? And also, what would be the risks that stop you from having access to the things you have rights to? Once you've got a sense of like that as a baseline of what you have as a need and have as a sense of obligation, you could then lay out what your bottom line is for the deal before you start to lose. And this is the important thing, is bottom line means that you are hopefully at least at zero, if not in profit, of like your time and energy that you've put into this deal. Think about it from not just finances, really look at the whole picture, your energy, your emotional state, your mental health, your physical health. I remember when I was very ill, I had to negotiate a deal around my health, and it was something that was very stressful. And I knew that my health only had a finite amount of time that I could cope with that amount of stress. And I set that as a very clear boundary of how I needed to deal with the process and have it all wrapped up and finished within a set deadline and the amount of time I could allocate a day to deal with that stress before it made me too physically unwell. And having that awareness of my physical and mental and emotional health really helped me then know what I needed to prioritize and focus in making the decision so that I got the minimum of what I needed, but also thinking about what was also added bonuses or what I really wanted above that. And with that, I also had to think about what was my dream outcome. What was the like, I'm being really cheeky if I ask for this kind of request. And that's a really useful thing to do. So what's the biggest cheeky thing that's going to come out of this deal with the least amount of effort and you giving up the least amount? Like, what is the total dream? And this is a real law of attraction moment where you have to visualize, have a very clear intention of what you really want from this deal that would be the best possible outcome, potentially with the least amount of effort by you. And then release the fear of them saying no, release the catastrophizing, release the imagination and the preparing yourself for all those awkward questions and them saying, no, you can't have that. And just let it be, just really embrace that there's nothing that stops you just asking for what you want and them saying yes. And it's amazing the amount of times that happened. In the very early days, I supported somebody through negotiating a deal with their employer because they developed a project that actually sat outside of their employment. And in a very hardworking, earnest way, she didn't want to actually ask for that cheekiest deal because she had such a passion about what it was that she was creating. And I said to her, well, just ask. It was like, if you get it, then there's nothing wrong with it, right? Because if you ask for what that cheeky thing is and it's given to you, then it wasn't cheeky, right? It's deserved, because what it's going to do is elevate you to a place where you deliver and really can exceed and excel beyond what it is that you are dreaming of at this time. And in her lifetime, in the last 16 years since I did that with her, she is now a leading person worldwide in the work that she does, and the good that she has brought from that deal and the way that that elevated her career and the amount of people she could save, and I really mean that in terms of the kind of work that she does, has enabled her to have more power and more to offer. So never underestimate that that cheeky request can propel you beyond your wildest dreams. You're then also going to really take that time to listen to the other person. And this is that mindful, real present communication to everything that they are saying, all the tiny nuances, reflect back, see how they respond when you reflect back. And that's going to help you understand their motivations, their needs, their bottom line, what their fears are and what their cheeky request might be. And this can take some time and effort and some real perspective shift practice. If that's not something you do, then I really suggest you do it, because it's the best way to work with people, is to try and put yourself in their shoes and hold with empathy what it is that they want and might want from the deal, so that you can work out how you can give them that and make them really feel satiated in the relationship. And that then enables you to be able to give them things that they do want without having to give up what you need and what you want. And we start to think about how we could really make their day by giving away things that maybe don't even mean very much to you. And often this is where deals can go really wrong, is we think that someone really wants the thing that we really want, but actually they want something we're not that fussed about. And if you can work that out, then you can give them things that they're really happy about, you get things that you're really happy about, and everyone is a winner. So in that sense, really think about the give and take of the relationship, and that's the foundation that it's going to move forwards with. So yes, you do need to know the words that might be written in your agreement. You might need to know some of the technical terminology that I've explained to you, because it might be important to them that they get one of those technical wins around exclusivity of you working within 1 kilometer of X defined studios, as long as you're really happy that you're not restricted on social media and you can do whatever you want and share and tag whatever it is that's of interest to you. And that remit, and those two things are two completely distinct, different clauses in the deal, and you're both really happy and you're both winners. So by knowing these things, by understanding, you hold your own sovereignty, but you're having empathy for your partner. And that will help you prioritize what it is that you want as a focus, what it is you don't mind giving up, and what it is that are your no budge points. And when it comes to those no budge points, you want to make sure that if they're really pushing that you have to give up or compromise on that no budge, you're walking away. And never be afraid to walk away from the deal. That is something you have to hold true to yourself, because that's almost always going to be a sign that the deal is not going to be good for you in the long term, and that there will be potentially some degree of suffering as a result. And although we might not mind suffering because it often produces some of the best learning, it's also sometimes better to learn to walk away and find that lesson in a slightly more gentle way in your life. So hopefully that has given you a sense of some of the ways in which to approach making deals and looking at your contract terms, so that you can find the ones that really are going to support you and the ones that are less important to you to give to the other person. And if you really enjoy the videos, then please share them. Let me know any of your questions or comments. I offer a free 20-minute consult to new clients as well, if you've got questions, that a project that you're wanting to work on, just to give you an idea of where to head start. And if you're interested in learning more about the programs where I go into more detail and support you in a little bit more of a group style, then please do get in touch with me at spiritlaw.net and sign up to the mailing list, where you will find out about when the next programs are up and running. Take care and keep shining your light.